This is the microscope that Hannah Nichols, Juliet's mother, made by herself. Amazing.
hmm
Is this reasonable?
I mean, it's reasonable in that it's like partially made out of kids' toys, like these metal brackets. That's totally kids' toy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that it looks like there's like a sawtooth thing that she turned into
Right.
gearing. That's very
That's cool.
nice.
That's cool.
I thought this is unreasonable because she's made a microscope, which traditionally has maybe 2 to 3 lenses, and she's made a 5 lens stack. Can we circle this where the 5 lenses are?
So I think it's one here,
One.
two,
Yep.
3, 4, and then up here somewhere,
Up
5.
there, there's the objective lens, and you
Mm-hmm.
put an extra
Mm-hmm.
eye. So I was surprised because this is a very complicated structure. Now it seems like just 5 lenses, but in there's 4 equations. There's 4 iterative rounds of the lens maker equation, and so for a society that says you're not allowed to have any magnification above a certain level, it's mind blowing that someone would go from one lens to a 5 stack. Now I could see how they're using one lens because we have glasses, and in the silo we see that people wear glasses, so there must be some lens maker somewhere that knows how to make lenses for eyes. But that's a very specific subset of the things that you can do with lenses, particularly. So we see that the microscope ends up being with an image that's right side up. So if you have an object here, you're looking at like a cell or whatever, or a heart in this case, the image also comes right side up, as opposed to being upside down. This is very important. This is very important because this is a real object, the real image, whereas this is a virtual image. Real image is very easy to understand. You just have a microphone. Oh, sorry, you used to get a magnifying glass. You look into ants, you see the thing, you see them upside down. But a virtual image, that means you had to have negative distance or negative magnification. It's not so obvious to the human brain. So the fact that she did this stack of 5 lenses, it doesn't seem reasonable for someone in the silo to have this type of knowledge.
I think this means that Hannah Nichols is collaborating with a lens maker, who probably the person who makes glasses, or one of the people that makes glasses in the silo. And maybe one of the lens makers, is a member of the Flame Keepers and has kept a book around that tells people how to make compound lenses. So she's not doing this completely by herself. She's using books, essentially, or at least one book that has knowledge about magnification to design this in a way that makes sense.
Right.
And if it's a lens maker that has the book as well, then they can assist in making some of these lenses to meet the specifications she needs. I think that's most reasonable because we actually looked up some of the original lens makers, microscope makers in history, like von Leeuwenhoek.
Von Leeuwenhoek.
And he actually used, he ground his own lenses, and he used
Cool.
simple microscopes with only one lens.
A simple microscope using one lens is really like, you could say it's like a magnifying glass, but inside a tube.
Mm-hmm.
It makes things look bigger, but it's also something, actually very easily done.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that was done in 1670 something,
1600s.
1600s, it was, if I remember, it was like a 30-year, 40-year turnaround before somebody made a compound microscope, a microscope that used 2 or more lenses. So that's a 30-year gap of like the cutting edge science, like we understand it now, but back in the day it was like it was exploring unexplored space. It was something that you're shooting in the dark.
Actually, it seems like it was the other way around. They did 2 lenses first, and then 20 or 30 years later, von Leeuwenhoek was able to make more quality lenses, but he used single ones only.
Interesting.
So essentially, because quality was higher or something with the single lens, in order to get better, they went to single lens first. And then there was more iterations after that. So the course of lens history and microscope history is not this clean path.
Sure.
So it seems unrealistic for Hannah to jump right to this complex thing.
Especially in a society that is actively against this. Like they have in their pact that you're not allowed to make a magnification over a certain power. So I would suspect that they have some rules about access to these restricted devices.
Yep.
So it just Hannah Nichols is way too smart for the world that she lives in.
Mm-hmm. And the Flame Keepers must have had books and a lens maker on the team.
True.
Lots going on
Hannah
here.
Nichols is super smart.
Right.
Super smart.
Right.
Because like, when do you ever walk around seeing somebody wearing multiple layers of lenses? Like just the idea of like, I can layer up different lenses to get things big. Impressive.
Impressive.
And on the 5 stack, like there's so
Right.
many lenses engaged here.
Yeah. And we're talking about this right now. And we're like, what about this? What about that? And Hannah Nichols figured it out. No problem.
I mean, we have both individually taught classes about optics.
Yeah. Whew.